So on top, we have our device. Let's see what else we got in the box. Inside the box, we have a USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable. We have a very little bit of paperwork and a SIM ejection tool, but that's everything inside the box. Let's go ahead and check out the star of the show here, the Galaxy Z Fold 6. First impressions immediately out of the packaging. This is a really premium looking and feeling device. As far as the silver shadow color, can turn a little bit darker or a little bit lighter depending on your lighting conditions. Let's go ahead and fold the fold for the first time. Really nice, smooth, and very easy opening experience here. So actually opens a lot easier compared to the previous folds. You can see that when you just first start to open it, it kind of opens up already halfway for you really easily. You will also notice right off the bat that this is a much boxier design of fold for the first time. So looking at the fold 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can see here that they have a much more rounded finish on their sidings and corners, whereas here on this fold 6, definitely more of a squared off rectangular design. But this is going to give us a slightly larger outer screen and a different aspect ratio on the inside here. On the sides, we have our fingerprint sensor, our volume rockers, and our 5G antenna. Have our SIM slot here. In the SIM tray, it looks like we have room for just one SIM card here. It looks like another one could fit here, but it does say in really small print, no card. So I'm not sure why we have this extra slot here. This could be a dual SIM setup in other countries or regions, but at least for here in the US, looks like we have one physical SIM card slot. On the top, we have 3 mics and our new speaker cutout grill design we've been seeing on all of Samsung's new phones this year. On the bottom, we have another speaker, another mic, and our Type-C port capable of 25 watt super fast charging. And of course, on our left side, we have our hinge, a very nice matte finish here. Again, a very premium feeling phone. Looking at a side by side between last year's Fold 5 and this Fold 6, I don't really see too much of a difference in the hinge. Usually this trims down in size a lot over each generation, but it looks to be pretty similar here. And as far as a gap on this Fold 6, there's really no gap at all this time, except for just here near the hinge. You can see through there just a little bit. You can actually see just the slightest bit of gap still here on last year's Fold 5. There's this new lining, if you can see it, between the two halves of the phone. So that lining seems to be covering up at least any visual gap. And this bit of an extra seal should hopefully protect the phone's inner display from any bigger pieces of particles and dust. And to go along with this extra protection here of the inner display, we also have an official dust rating this year, an IP48 water and dust resistance rating. So a nice new updated design and feel, a lot more protection, and most notably, the weight has been significantly reduced on this Fold 6. So if I put my Fold 6 on the scale, 242 grams. Let's put my Fold 5 on here, 255 grams. So another 13 gram reduction, which for more points of reference, our Fold 4, 267 grams. You want to take it as far back as the Fold 3 and the Fold 2, might as well. 276 grams. And then on that Fold 2, we're at 284 grams. So it might not sound like a lot on paper. It can be hard to decipher this through a video, but the weight reduction is drastically reduced here once again on this Fold 6. It has an excellent lightweight feel for being such a thick and bulky device in the hand. We have a new camera design here compared to all the previous folds. So here's a look at the Fold 5. Personally, I really enjoyed just these clean, simple camera setups that have been consistently here on these folds over the generations. It's kind of interesting to see such a drastic change where just one of these camera lenses is changing. The ultra wide lens has gotten drastically improved on this. I'm a huge fan of all the physical changes and refinements made here, probably with the exception of the camera array. But now taking our first look at the new 6.3 inch outer display here on the Fold 6. If you compare this to the Fold 5, you can see that the bezel's definitely reduced on the top and the bottom. So we have more screen real estate thanks to that, but there also has been a slight aspect ratio change. So I believe there's been 1 millimeter or so added to the width of this outer screen. This is a noticeable change in my
definitely be sure to go through those. I'll link to that. But anyways, opening up the box for the first time, we're going to set our phone to the side, see what comes up here. Inside of this box, it looks like we've got our SIM ejection tool right there. We do have a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable for charging, plus a quick start guide. That's it. And on to what you came to see, the brand new Galaxy Z Flip 6 from Samsung with this cover display, their flex window. Peel that off, and right here, boom, there it is. And let's boot this up for the first time. And while it turns on, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So down at the bottom, we do have some microphones. We've got our USB Type-C port and a speaker. Moving along, on the right side here is where your volume rockers are. Power button with that embedded fingerprint scanner. I want to point out that there's just a slight camera bump with that dual camera system. On the hinge here, there it is. It does say Samsung. Again, keep in mind this is that blue color. On this side, I believe this is our ultra-wideband antenna plus our SIM card slot. A very close look at that blue color. It's more of a matte blue look, and folding it open for the first time, it's taking a quick close-up, sits completely flat. And a look at that front screen. We'll dive into that a little bit more, but I want to talk about these cameras. You actually have some new sensors for these cameras, which is really nice to hear. I'm excited to try these out. But you have a 50 megapixel main camera lens plus a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. And I want to point out, just check that nice little subtle color pop on the lens. I do like that addition. This actually will change depending on the specific